So you've got the speakers on the screen. The session is scheduled to last 90 minutes, including the time for question at the end. The session is being recorded and will be made available in the replay session of the event as soon as possible. Before I hand over to the speakers, I would like to remind you that this is a hybrid event. For online attendee, your microphone will remain muted for the duration of the session. If you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please use the chat box in the control panel. For the attendee here in the room, please keep the background noise to a minimum. And if you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand or use the microphone. I would like to bring to your attention that buildingSMART is committing to ensuring that participation in the development of standards is unrestricted and the process for their adoption is transparent, and standards that are developed do not favor any particular provider and are open, non-binding, and accessible to all. Please take note of our antitrust code of conduct. Now I would like to hand over to Richard.
Thank you, Laura, and welcome everybody. My name is Richard Kelly. I actually work for buildingSMART International, staff member, and part of my role is to coordinate the programs at buildingSMART. Those programs consist of what we call claims. Claims are the bodies that reflect the different sectors of the built asset industry. So this is actually very exciting that we're talking about this electrical transmission distribution proposal today, because it's something that's been in the offing for several years. It's had interest from utility providers for about 4 years now around the world, and it's only in the last probably 12 months that it's managed to coalesce post-pandemic. And people have started working together in order to put forward an activity proposal. And you'll see from on the screen before this slide that the present presenters that are presenting today to talk about what they're doing. I have to thank buildingSMART Germany, particularly my colleagues Mirbek and Gunther, who have provoked this latest iteration of the transmission and distribution use case with a white paper that they published with their colleagues in Germany. And this is going to be built on now by the international community. So before we talk about that, I just wanted to explain a little bit about how buildingSMART works and how we allow the collaboration between international players from many, many different companies, some of whom may even be competitors in the real world, and some of whom are part of a common supply chain. This diagram here shows the 3 different levels of projects that are now available in buildingSMART International. First of all, the strategic level, which is where the core standards are developed. So the basis of openBIM, which is IFC, IDS, things like that. You don't need to worry too much about how they are created, because we've got a technical team that deals with that. What you will be interested in as domain people is how we can mass customize the core standards to make them applicable to your particular use case. So, for example, if you're working in the airport domain, you would want to be able to customize the IFC and the IDS to reflect airport entities. If you're in the electrical domain, and particularly if it's transmission distribution, which we are today, you'll want to do the same thing for transmission and distribution entities. Now this is a good time actually for me to introduce the domain steering committee for the electrical domain. Sensory of the word. My personality. So each domain has a steering committee, which is made up of people who are elected from the membership community, and the electrical domain will be the body that oversees this activity proposal, and which will eventually turn into a project transmission and distribution. And most of this in the front row here. So I ask the domain steering committee to raise their hands, please, give them a wave. So, okay, thank you, Bertrand, and from Truda and Schneider Electric, and Oliver and Christian from Siemens, and Bernd from the German chapter. And everybody else I've missed in the room. I think that's it for now. Okay. And then we have a third level of project, which is the accelerator project. And this is more of a one-to-one relationship between buildingSMART International and a particular company who wants to apply openBIM processes into their program. So that's the three levels. Hopefully, that explains it. I'm going to skip through this one because actually this is saying the same thing. It's a new diagram that we experimented with yesterday for the first time, and it seems to fit the spot. So I'll just quickly get to this. What I'm showing here is that we start off with business requirements, and these feed into the strategic projects, the core standards for openBIM, and the domain programs get the benefit of that, but they also get the opportunity as industry players, because you all know your industry best, to put into buildingSMART what your requirements are for the core standards, as well as being able to put into your requirements for the particular use cases. So the industry sponsors the main projects, in other words, in order to have deliverable outcomes that will reflect your business needs. And finally, just to summarize before I hand over, each domain project will start off with industry requirements. So industry players, you are able to talk in language that you understand how you manage your assets, how you desire a whole life management of your assets to make better decisions. So you will be able to put your requirements into buildingSMART, and you will do that with a use case like we're doing in this electrical transmission distribution use case. Initially, that will be an activity proposal to get the flywheel spinning, to get some momentum. Then it will turn into a project plan, which will have, as you would expect, a project plan to have deliverables, funding requirements, resources, etc. And the project will be delivered, now it's the real work, will be delivered by people who understand openBIM processes. We will employ a project team on contract to deliver the project. And the outputs of that will be updates to buildingSMART dictionary, so you can access the information you require, IDS files, so you can access the information you require, and we'll have a predetermined way of determining the procedures for that. And finally, what we get out to the end are the realised business benefits, because software vendors will pick up the outputs from the project and will be able to turn them into something that you desire and require, so you can then make better decisions about how you manage your assets in the future. You'll have information that is available to you to the right person at the right time throughout the whole life of the asset to be able to manage the asset portfolio better. And realise the return on investment that you're making. And again, this will then be a language that you and your peers and people who are in this will understand and feel compelled to pursue. Okay, that's my brief introduction. I'm now handing over to, is it you, Mirbek? Okay. I'm going to skip this one because this is more detail about how a project will be delivered and go on to this. Thank you for listening. Right, thank you.
Good morning. You can hear me all right? Sorry. Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's really a pleasure that you made it to join such a really exciting activity, and we welcome you all if you are coming to be part of our initiative. It's open. It means we will develop open standards, open solutions, and of course in your domain. Shortly, I'm technical project manager of buildingSMART Germany, and at the building domain I'm also steering committee member, helping with many activities here. The presentation today will start with a simple understanding what we are talking about. So I'm talking about simple acronyms. Maybe some of them are not familiar to you, but I would like to give you a simple analogy. So there will be on this pizza, right? But what kind of pizza? Let's say pizza margherita. And there you need to have some processes so that the recipe itself. And you, by the way, you are all domain experts. And in that case, domain experts are cooks in our place. So you are a chef cook, and you should tell us how to bake that pizza. And that's what, and plus, what we need in that pizza is you need to have ingredients. We cannot say, oh, let's have 100 grams of sugar, flour, and 1 liter of milk to make a pizza. It will be, of course, the result will be not the same what we wanted to have. That's why you should tell us later on for exchange requirements, for, I don't know, creating a substation, we would need wiring, we would need cabling, we need to switch devices and so on. So all that, or insulators and so on. So you will need to simply identify your process, your predefined times, your properties that you definitely need. That's the problem. And later on, we need to define the processes, right? The process, easiest way to define processes is simply describe them, just show what will be next, what we have to expect from whom. And usually we use BPMN for that. It's also open standard for processes. Yeah, we export models. One thing I forgot, ideas. You have maybe heard ideas is now upcoming standard, it's candidate standard, and someone soon will be final standard. It allows you to transport exchange requirements or those ingredients and both in human and machine readable way. So later on, I'll show you a live example how you define it, how it looks like as a normal person. I will be able to read it, and machine as well. I mean, your application. Plus, the software, of course, needs to be able to export, so it's stuff that the software vendor should apply. And of course, the whole pizza result we have. Later on, when you're mapping your stuff, you may have your ingredients, but where you got that ingredients, where you know what are the classifications, your types, all that stuff you can find in fridge. So there are milk products, dairy products, and so on. That will be your domain in BSTD, electrical domain. Like, don't mix it with electrical domain as the main DSI domain, but now it's called dictionary in BSTD. So you have electrical dictionary, let's say, dictionary which is in real exists 80 for uniclass, omniclass. That kind of dictionaries will be published in BSTD. So the initiative or what we call project start identified some scope and goals. We discussed several times what should be our scope, what should be a scope of electrical domain, BSI electrical domain, and we had several meetings. The first meeting we had in this from the framework of summit. We had online two online meetings, one face-to-face meeting in Frankfurt. And during those meetings, we had a chance to simply brainstorm what we need, what is exact, and we collect, by the way, your requirements. And those requirements we try to consolidate in such a diagram or illustration where we show what will be our main focus, which is currently under the red frame, and the really bad colors, it's pink, purple. So I guess so. So electrical domain, we discuss things with that and meeting Frankfurt. So this is a final state. Of course, we have in Germany working group in the electrical industry. They, of course, they try to cover the entire scope. That's from generation to distribution and usage. That was on the left side. You can see the previous state. We have a chance to update, consolidate according to your needs, requirements, comments. First of all, inputs. Some of you delivered written inputs that were really helpful. And we have our latest one, which is the message to you being reviewed by PSI committees, several committees, steering domains or steering committees. Then, as soon as the domain steering committee endorses it, it goes further upward, and there is a standards committee, technical executive. It's reviewed currently by SAE. And later on, as soon as SAE endorses it, will go upper to SCE, Standards Committee Executive, and then later on to Standards Committee. Standards Committee means all members of the SMART, national members, site members, chapters, first of all, and all other organizations that are related to SCE. Simply for your all support inputs, so they can see we had many brainstorming sessions where we collected all your information with the help of sticky notes, simply comments, and all that was consolidated into one scope. We had scope. First of all, we need your requirements, and requirements means we need to know what are they, what are the facilities, what are the classes, predefined types of potential need. We need to know if they cover, in general, if IFC for the three covers that. We need to talk about ESDD is already domain exists. We can map them by the way. We can map your classification, let's say feature TND and a convention distribution dictionary with IFC 4.3 and class with 18 and with other classifications. Oh, sorry. So that's what the main part that we're trying to. Then of course we need to specify some requirements under one use cases, define use cases. We need to work on those requirements. We may, by the way, capture with IDS, and this is just an example use case that you can see on UCM. Simply open it, it's open, it's free. I mean, in the toolbook, you can find an example of use case. Where's technical specifications, guidelines, and diagnostic paper. Deliverables, like I said, we need to work on them. First of all, taxonomy on the processes, how you define your use cases. That's standardized way. Optimize them first of all to make an openBIM compatible. Let's say we have use cases that potentially will land under some working group, and of course that can be consolidated. For example, some use cases from electrical domain. They already published some, and that will be interesting to take them into account or collaborate with them on the upcoming new use cases that will be joint use cases between initiatives. And tutorial sample sets. Not just to tell that taxonomy, that's actually all the stuff that you know. I don't have to explain what is a K-lake or what is a pylon, a high voltage pylon, or I don't have to explain you what is substation, what is a photovoltaics, and solar panels. I don't have to explain you system. By the way, our scope is here on this slide. So we took our generation out of scope, because as I remember, there is I see maritime domain, maritime domain is coming, and they have a subscope. So this is just an example. As you can see, high voltage pilots, we have a lack. We can use existing infrastructure. It means in infrastructure, IFC domain. And in IFC electrical domain, there's not please don't misuse the domain of buildingSMART group with previous when we have a real IFC domain. It means IFC electrical domain with IFC classes, with IFC types, with property sets, and so on. And those domain, of course, covers many things that you can already see, starting to insulate the panels, conductors, transformers, switching devices, switchboards, and so on. They all cover. So you just need to define first your requirement, and later on simply say, I need this property, I need that. If we can find them, if we cannot find them on IFC, then maybe we need to do homework, bring them into the SAP. And just an example of further stuff that you can even see for the renewable energies, really also good to use existing ones as solar panels, solar air, even charging for mobility, electrical mobility and batteries, future, and so on within the company. We need to define such process map, just an example of openBIM, building manager modeling, just as an excursus. With whom we would like to play, collaborate, and of course, all those are part of this initiative, and we are really, of course, happy to collaborate more and invite more chapters, more experts from other domains, from other organizations. Please join us. It's very important. We want to develop information from that, and that's what I would like to call. We have white paper in Germany, it's published, and you can simply follow the link. You need to download it by yourself, and it's free in German. By necessity, we will provide somewhere English version, so we will be able to read it for sure in English version. As far as I remember, we did it also for upcoming water domain. There will be a presentation tomorrow at 9 a.m. And in the same way, our German working group water management, they have a chance to publish one white paper that you can benefit from. The same way, Fabiana, I guess now it's almost yours. The last thing clear, we need to work, like Richard mentioned, to work on detailed project plan, which will cover budgeting, timing, scope, detailed scope, and that will be done later. We'll dive deeper and make precise milestones and precise. As soon as we'll get, of course, green light from all that committees that I mentioned previously. I think I'm now ready to give Fabiana who.
Morning, everyone. Today I will talk to you about what we are doing in Germany. And yeah, I have 10 minutes for that. And I hope that, yeah, if you have questions, please let me know. So today we are talking about the introduction, the scope, objectives, challenges, and how we can transform these challenges into opportunities. What we are doing there. First of all, we are experts from different fields. We are a group for 30 people or 40 maybe, and we are working together to with some with a focus. We are stakeholders, operators, suppliers, software companies. We have information managers in the group and BIM experts. You can imagine that it's not easy to align this group. So the group speakers are Gerhard, Amir, Felix, and me now. And the contact person is Mirbek. They are doing a lot of work. Thank you also Gerhard and Amir, because they are doing a lot of work to align the group in this field. So there is a white paper, you can download it, but however I can say only German at the time, but you can take a look. So the scope of our group is transmission and distribution. We see that we have already a group that are working on the energy generation. Transmission and distribution is a field that we wanted to work because we have demand on that. And of course, the consuming and the electrical power room is really important for us also because of the interfaces. And our objective is, of course, to develop the taxonomy, to identify the gaps on IFC this field. So, and in doing this, we are also creating like sub-products, like Bishop Kelly has talked today and yesterday also, in doing this, we are also creating the possibility to develop an object catalog to make mapping with the IFC 4.3, to develop BIM processes and so on. A lot of things that we can develop in trying to develop this taxonomy. And how to transform a lot of challenges that we have in opportunities. Because we have here, we need to align the BIM know-how in the group. Because we have a lot of people that are coming from other sectors and you don't know how much they know about BIM. And we know here, we are all experts here, and we know that's not easy to define BIM. What is that? And in the energy sector, sometimes it's something new. And to cover the expectations and to align it, we need a lot of communication there. To bring the know-how from energy sector to us is not a launch, it's really important because it's something sometimes new, also for us as BIM experts. And to design the efficient way to work, because it's like yesterday, okay, why we do it and how to do it, because it's sometimes you are in working groups and we are there and okay, we need to deliver something, but how align this group that with different know-how and that we need, and it's a different way to think about things. So, and of course, one of the most important things is to avoid the silos, and that is a problem, and we know that. I guess we are buildingSMART. We are trying to put the information outside. Okay, we are together, we collaborate, we work with DDE, but we need to work also between domains, and that is really important for us. And I see that buildingSMART, they have done a lot of development on that, and to my opinion, we are on the right way. How to make it possible? So, in all groups that we are doing and all meetings that we are doing in Germany, Mirbek, of course, they are doing a lot of work to align the group with workshops. So we are beginning with workshops. What is a BSAT? The basic things that we need to align. The last one was, what is a use case? How we can define a use case? It's not so easy, like we think, what I'm talking about. And if you have time, please take a look at that. What we are doing at the time, we to collect information to put in an order that we can work with. The other thing is how these subgroups, how we can align the subgroups and make it interesting for all of us. We are divide our group in subgroups. One group is working on taxonomy, and another group are working on the use cases. Because sometimes you have the stakeholder, they need to have something that they can work now. Taxonomy, it takes a lot of time to build the taxonomy. And of course, it's really important also, like the use cases, but because we can, through the taxonomy, generate the sub-products, yeah? But it takes a lot of time. So what we are doing is, we try to define now use cases that are interesting based on stakeholder needs, and transform it in a new use case and put it there to analyze the process on that, and to see, okay, in the process, which kind of information you are exchange, and can you find something missing there that you need to have and you don't have on IFC? So that is the basic thing that we are doing. That's like the receipt that Mirbek are talking about. And that somebody like the supermarket, how you can take something from the supermarket. And the activity proposal that Mirbek are talking about is then how we can bring it on the international level to break the silos. Because it's really important for all of us to speak one language. And I see that if you are talking about energy, you have the energy generation, transmission, consuming. And that is a vertical thing. And horizontal thing, you have the domains, you have rail, you have airport, and so on and so on. If we can find out, you can define a use case in this triangle between the transmission, consuming, and the domains, we are creating a lot of silos breaking. But it's not so easy. We need to cooperate each other. Because you have the electrical domain, you have the tech box, you have a lot of nice things that you can use also by us, or best practices that you have, because we are here in this working process. So maybe we can find something that can be good for you. So that is the thinking of that we have. And also, like yesterday, airports, they have also high voltage net, BIM, and so trains, and so on and so on. We can really work together. And I guess if we can find some good use case, we can be the silos breaker from buildingSMART. And the thing is that we need to, the goal is this. It's not another chance behind. So it's a smarter use of data in the energy industry. That is the focus for all of us, I think. And if you are talking about the group in Germany, we're still there. We are working on that. Only to deliver a little bit input, maybe for the international field. That in international field we can, you can make the choices. It's something that we can use it or not. And also for the experience that you have there, if you have some best practice or inputs that you can deliver us, we are open to discuss, of course. Thank you very much. That is the message.
So we have the next speaker. So we have next speakers in following way Petar Dragic will present use cases and best practice examples. Following will be some examples from other Spanish chapter, from the Electrica, and at the end, I guess, Gerhard will be presenting online or here. Okay, so it's not working. So, Petar, thank you for joining us today. The stage is yours.
Of course, it's my great pleasure to be there with you. I'm Dragic from our company and also part of the openBIM for transmission and distribution working group. And I can can also get free to make also short introduction. The goal of this part of presentation is to present our experience already in modeling or using openBIM in power industry. Actually, our experience is in promoting openBIM in power lines, transmission distribution lines, because we create software solution for designing power line, transmission distribution lines with openBIM approach. First, when we start with promoting openBIM in energy sector, as you already mentioned from my other colleagues, it is usually very difficult to explain what is BIM because we speak with new companies, with new domain, with new engineers, and we usually start, and as I said 3 or 4 years ago, with this chart. And I'm pretty sure that all of you know this chart, but this is very important to present in that way because to just provide a message why it's important, because we need to move forward from the traditional to BIM approach, because we don't have losing information. Also, I share this chart. I want to say, okay, look this chart, because we really have a big trouble with digitalization in construction and also in energy industry. And as you can see at the end of this scale of construction in oil and gas industry. Also, we share information about the existing just power lines. As you can see here, you can see the table for length of the different, in different countries, length of the distribution and transmission network. And it's very important to think about that. Think also about the existing network and also to think about the new networks. Okay, and for very large companies, no problem. They can see benefits of BIM and they start with the pilot projects. But we don't have a lot, we have a lot of companies who are executives who say, okay, now we speak about the digitalization more than 20 years, now we want to also go in BIM, how we can do it, how we can use already existing data, what we use, what will be with our GIS data, existing data, and so on. And then I decided to start my presentation for energy company in this way, because all want to see nice visualization. And I want to say, okay, this is very nice visualization, but just remember, this is visualization made on BIM models. And also designing companies, construction companies, and operators want to see it. But it is another question, how we can use our BIM models in our work. Then I shared with them this slide, because I want to share and say, you can, of course, use that BIM models in your workflows, from design to construction, operating and maintenance, because we already have defined formats and standards for changing the data. Of course, buildingSMART already mine, IC, BCL, IDS. And again, it is a little bit a problem, again, to understand it. And then we say, okay, let's go on one example. We want to show you one example, and why is it that important? At the beginning, we want to say, okay, you can use your already existing data. Of course, GIS data, which you already have, and we know that all of the transmission distribution system operators already have GIS data, and they can use it, and they can use it to the. If you can see, here is one example where you show that they can just load the opposite good maps, or sorry, big Microsoft maps, and if they want to share GIS data, of course, they have the data in properties. The next step, what we want to say then, BIM, okay, BIM is not just free. BIM is, of course, free models with attributes, or better to say, with metadata or information. And on each element which you click or you want to check, you can see the properties, or better to see BIM data. And okay, that is nice. But what is the next step? What I think that is very important for all of the companies which are involved in power lines, or better to say in power sector, is that easier interoperability with another projects on another disciplines. Then we want to share with them information that they can easily share another data of the project if they're using BIM. Why? For example, we have one example of the road, with the power lines, and all of the data, of course, we have information is in model. That is important because we again want to send that message. You can very easily communicate with another disciplines. It means in this project, we can of course have a pilot project where we show them that we importing another IRC files, as you can see, roads, pipelines, gas line, relays, and all of that is made by different BIM solutions. At the end, it is important. You don't need just to use one solution. It doesn't matter which solution you use, but at the end, you need to create that project or that model and record in IC because it is easier to share with another disciplines. Okay, it was just a short presentation of how we promote openBIM in power lines. At the end, I want to say thank you for your attention and hope you will also support us as a working group for transmission and distribution power to extend openBIM workflows and processes for power lines. Thank you.
So, thank you very much. By the way, we will collect all the questions from all presenters, starting from me, from Fabiana, from Petar, until the end. We'll give you your questions. There will be a Q&A session. If you have some session that really just keep in mind, yeah? So we have now Jordi and Miguel from Red Electrica who will be presenting the industries.
Thank you for having us. Welcome once again to Spain. First of all, Red Electrica, who we are. Basically, it will be very short for those of you that you don't know who Red Electrica is. It's the third largest transmission system operator in Europe by volume of assets, over 2,000 employees. I think that you will get the slides later on, so there's more data here. I will be very short. So basically, transmission system operator. We are in charge of the design, construction, and maintenance of the transmission grid in Spain. So that's basically 402,000 kilovolts in mainland Spain, and from 66 and higher in the Balearic and Canary Islands. Basically, so we are an asset owner operator. As you will be very well aware of, in the climate crisis that we're already on, at the European Union, there's the National Climate and Energy Plans, and basically for Spain, that means in the horizon of 2030, increasing the share of renewable energy in the electricity grid from 50% that it's currently on to up to 84% by 2030. That basically means multiplying our assets. Basically, that's an approximation. This is because it's still an ongoing network development plan process for 26 to 2030. But basically, that will be multiplying the assets by 1.5. And that is accelerating the investments to levels that they were record high already this past year, 2023. And why openBIM? Yesterday we had a nice presentation, and the question will be why not, but just a couple of examples. This is because we need the long-term accessibility to data. The assets, as you are well aware of, span the life cycles from years to decades, and of course the standards that will allow information reuse and enable multiple use cases and maximize the possibilities of using that information interoperability, as well as having lower impact on projects. That is basically the project delivery, and as well maintain competition and foster innovation in the market, as we rely on the ecosystem of our partners to do our business. This is just a short example of a recent project. There is a 420 kilovolt substation. It's an American and a half insulated substation. Some use cases were tested in here, and basically, I will go just to the details. Why do we need open standards? Why do we need standards at all? What is currently missing from, for example, from IFC, the non-existence of some classes, some entities here. The line type or the CVT, the capacity voltage transformer, those classes, those entities are not currently on the IFC schema, and that is hindering, it's limiting the usefulness in other workflows as well in the future as IPS, CCF, and so on. And of course, it's a better fit needed from the structure of the projects, the IFC structure, and the project structure that is usually done for a substation or for a transmission line, an overhead line. And this will be just an example that currently the IFC site usually is equal to a substation. The IFC building will be the switch up, for instance, and many other things that currently, well, there's not a best fit or the optimum fit that will be needed for our industry. And this is important because we are as an municipal operator, and we need to manage for many years that information, and our work will be great. And I will just hand it over to Miguel.
Okay, so once my main Jordi has shown our approach to substation, I would like to share with you how we are working with our other big kind of assets, that is the transmission line. And well, at least we are able to generate a 3D model for both underground and overhead transmission lines, and add some data. It's great, but we have a lot to improve and a lot of work to do. In this case, we have a different approach that I have made, but mostly we have the same problems. We start our workflow with the dimensioning tool, where we prepare all the designs and we estimate the different hypotheses and the elements that we want to install in our assets. And when we finish that process, we have that lack of how to move to other tools or how to share the information. So basically, we have to export or prepare some exportation with EX files or XML files in order to have both graphical design but also the data. In Red Electrica, we have a very powerful geographical information system. In that platform, we, in the past and but in the future, we have some calculation and some estimation where we estimate the impact with the terrain, for example, all the affected area we estimate. Also, we have some workflows to manage the permits and sometimes even the hyperdimensional issues. With some plugins and some workflows, we are able to translate, bring all the design and generate a 3D model in our GIS platform. What is great, we have a very good visualization and some data, not with a very big effort trying to map the different entities from our design tool to our GIS platform. And here, well, it's a very good first step, but it's not enough, and we have to move to an offering tool where we have to manage a connection between BIM and these works. And here we have to map again with a direct connection between these two works and bring all information and finish our last stage of our design. So here we have like a view of our software, maybe all of you know. and we start the last stage. So when we finish our design, we would like to move to openBIM work, and we prepare an exportation in order to save and share in our CDE platform. And it's great to have infrastructure IFC schema because we can manage our asset like a linear project, and at least we have the alignment that I say is great. But sometimes we have to adapt to the most similar entity, and we have like some cases like can be funny, like how we treat a pylon, like IFC column, or a conductor, like IFC cable segment. But would be a good first approach, but it's not enough to manage our assets. So for the future, well, we are using 4.3 IFC. That is great, but we have a lot of things that we would like to have to jump this lack of entities. And for instance, we would like to treat circuit, section, span, or supports, but there are a lot of entities that we as a group have to manage in order to address it.
And just to finish the presentation, well, this is as well a common need that we all have in the sector. It says how to deal with information that is coming from different manufacturers, or here just sort of taken from some of you, but it says the need for the same technical language, not only on the geometric, but it says more on the objects, on the attributes, on the properties that is as well needed for having well, just an efficient workflow as well for dealing with information. So basically, to summarize, yes, very just to as well support this initiative, this activity proposal. So let's go for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation, by the way. We, that's, as a note, just to take a note, the platform is something new, it's something new, I think, for us. As you may see, there was a example that I said assembly was already mentioned, predefined type files, so the lack of that thing we already have, but we need, like you already mentioned, to map the rest, what is missing, if we have insulators, if we have, isolators, if we have enough types of switch gears and so on. So we need to define. But we can, now we have, next.
And we have to keep time in mind, as far as I know we have now half an hour. So let's, until the other stuff will be cleared, maybe we can take a chance to clear questions. I will ask audience, do we have any questions, specific questions, what was discussed up until now? If you have a question, please raise your hand. Yes, then we need a microphone.
Okay, I don't know how to put the question. It can be a concern or a difficulty we have in the electrical room, as well as a question of clarification of the scope. So the question is really, what is, I'm not talking about the scope T&D, but in terms of objects or functions, and that's the point, what is exactly the scope? Or if I would be a bit provocative, I would say, what is BIM at the end? Is BIM just 3D smart object modeling? And that I can accept, and there is already a lot of things to be done in the 3D modeling. But when we deal with electrical object, of course, any electrical object, would it be in the T&D or in the low voltage, needs a 3D representation. But as an electrical guy, okay, that's not the full scope I need to see. I need to have an electrical symbol that I can put in an electrical diagram, or I need to have functions, protection functions, control functions, and all of things which are more essential to an electrical guy than the 3D for the construction guy. And we struggle with that, and we have a lot of debate in the electrical room where do we stop? Do we stick to 3D objects, or do we go beyond? What is your intention in this initiative?
Laura, can
Thank you
hear
for
me?
your question. First of all, it's not my intention, it's your intention, the intention of the whole group. You're absolutely right. It's your requirement. We have to take those requirements into account. Absolutely correct. BIM is not just a 3D model. BIM is not the 3D model. You know, the information, that's the most important part. If you close geometry plays certain role.
Hello.
Without geometry, you will not, in some cases, like in tech box, you will not be able to know how much space you need to reserve for your equipment, for maybe for switchboards and distribution boards, whatever they will be there. So you need basic geometry at the beginning. You need to reserve the space, whether I see space, I see a spatial zone or whatever. And later on, you can transfer information with the help of semantics and with information that you can check if the model has some certain types, properties. You can also create rules as rules if the model also provides linked data and it's able to linked information from outside sources like tables, charts, or maybe the schemes that you mentioned just now, electrical scheme. You know how to connect your transformer into the system. So you will definitely need that. Yeah, I see you don't, Christian, disagree or has other opinion.
Well, the difference I see is that our cable runs in the wall, which is IFC wall, and your cable runs in the air, which is not IFC air, is not defined. Sorry to say. So, and we also learned yesterday on Monday that especially with IFC 5, when you move the wall and the window, the cable stays where it is. All these things are our challenges, okay? The socket in the wall, the motion detector on the ceiling and all this stuff. These are our challenges next to the symbols that were mentioned by Bertrand. All these things is what our domain need to look at. And the question is, where do we have similarities? Where do we see but I also would like to avoid that we do a double, let's say, semantic for the same thing. That is what we really, where we have to agree on, to also be transparent.
Thank you. We keep that one because we are out of time. That's very important. Of course, Gerhard is there. You hold on a little. We need to clarify some things here, and we just switched a little within the agenda. We have a chance to, if you definitely need wiring within the wall, which is actually a really good thing. I struggle currently in my house. If that will be previously in the existing building, I'm not talking about new ones. New ones can already do it during the planning, potentially, But if you buy a new house, old house, let's say, and you will try to even make to attach a picture frame on the wall, you will need to use some sensors to not to that you will damage a cable, right? That cable you definitely need to somehow to bring into the model. How you will do that? Yes, we have cable signals. I agree with you. As soon as you move it, it's actually that's different rate. That's the problem. It's different rate. I agree with you. As soon as you move the wall is a reference in that case. Wall comes from architect. It's not coming from you. You're an expert.
you'd provide your 3D model, potentially 3D model. Usually it's not. Usually it's on a scheme, and not many uses 3D modeling for wiring, which actually makes many sense to provide. The maximum that they provide, if you have a cable, you have a cable conduits, you have cable channels, and so on, then you can model them. But I don't see the problem to do the same way within the wall. You need to identify that this is my cable, that's my conduit, and those are my I don't know, slits in the wall. It's a connection. There is a simply cable, and that if you map them, that will be actually the task of designer first of all, and second task will be handwerker or craftsman, the electrician who will be on site, who will be installing it, and it means that guy or girl, that matter. I mean that person. Sorry, that person should identify if that cable indeed placed on its location. Then you can, of course, currently augmented reality, you can say, yes, it fits, there are some tolerances, but it will be at least in that place. You can define that as a rule, that a requirement. And I'm not sure if that should be part of real, I mean, of a wall itself, because it's coming actually from an architect. You're using it to reference. Does it or not? It should.
The question is, how do we combine it with our image?
So, why I have to why we don't why we have to separate it? It's our scope is the same way. If the cable will go under the ground or within the wall, the cable will remain cable. We don't care about what is important as a voltage. If it's 230 volts or 1,000 volts, so it will be different if it's under the cable. If specific requirements, the properties that you require, if those properties meet my requirements, I know that's underground and high voltage cable. Then I will have specific security classes, I don't know, voltage rates and so on. They will be unspecified within the properties. Not in my opinion, we don't have to separate them. It should remain in one scheme. In one entity. We have an entity of cable, of the cable segment. It will be applied there. If you have your low voltage requirements, they are specific ones. You can define them into that specific property set.
That's a good question. Because if we stick to this example of cable, in low voltage, on the taxonomy point of view, if we want to have this object as a cable, we need to know if it's 3-phase plus neutral plus P,
Yeah.
or 1-phase plus neutral plus P,
Yeah.
so which is inside of the cable.
Yeah.
And that's a simple object. We have many other objects, physical objects, that from an electrical point of view have many different functions. Can have disconnection function, an overvoltage protection function, an overcurrent protection, etc. And this was really my question. What is driving our priority, 3D or functions? And I didn't really understand this case. I kind of feel that, or I kind of understand that the priority is
the 3D modeling, which is fine, but up to where do we have to go deeper into the taxonomy, not stopping in a physical object taxonomy, but going deep into a function taxonomy? And the problem is, if the answer is we need to go more into functions and things like that, wow, that's a hell of a job. And also, if we go to functions, then where do we stop compared to SIM or 61850 standard, which has already defined a lot of things? And that's where we need to find how we meet the two.
I guess we also have some comment.
Yeah, I don't have an answer, first of all. I do share the same question as you, and of course, well, we shared on the slides 3D just because it's a presentation, but the important thing for us is the functions, is the information, is the data, is the taxonomy, the geometry. It's something else. It's good, but it's yeah, exactly. And of course, we didn't display any protection and control schematics or anything like that. But of course, there's as well a relation. And where do you put that border with 61850, the common information model or whatever? It's a big question, of course. So I don't know, but we'll have to sort it out and just think about it. But it's a great question. We don't have the answer, but from our standpoint, from our point of view, data is important, not the 3D.
I can say something like that based on that, because we are trying to find out, okay, how we can put it on the table and discuss about it. Because of course, a function is essential. That's not a discussion. But how you can, per example, if you are talking about offshore, you have the platforms. How you can do it like copy paste?
Let's try.
If you have you don't have so much time and you don't have so much people with know how to do it. And sometimes you need, of course, the 3D models is not the answer for that, but the information inside for the maintenance, if we're talking about this. And I guess that the BIM model could be, a help to provide information for the maintenance also later. But how to take this information for the maintenance, that's another story. Yeah.
So we have 15 minutes to go. We have Gerhard online. He will present and we will still maybe extend our session for 5 minutes more. I would like to mention something very important. Thank you for mentioning our challenges, because yeah, if you start first with the taxonomy of the simple things, I mean classes, as soon as you know the classes, you know your types. I'm talking about one example that I really love from electrical, in general from HVAC control domain. There is a class called sensor, right? And so, it's covered by IFC from very long ago. IFC sensor. If you open IFC sensor, it has many types. I'm talking about daylight sensor, carbon monoxide sensor, CO2 sensor. There are many types. All those types have their own. They have all common properties that belong to IFC sensor. They can be still filled. You can open BSTD and we'll show you everything. And then if you choose specified type, like type of sensor, let's say CO2 sensor or daylight sensor, it comes with not every time, but additional specific requirements. Those requirements it was defined by a domain expert at that time, and say, for CO2 sensor, I need that information. Why? You know why? Because later on it's used in the operation. In operation, I mean in the maintenance and operation, and potentially could be connected with a hub of IoT, with your facility management, and facility manager, whoever is controlling the building, will be able to get information from that sensor that will say, oh, we have CO2 level too much more than 300 ppb, and if you can find that in that room, it will be directly connected. And IFC enables that. That's really important. So it means the requirements that electrical domain now states how deep you want to go. You want to first identify your classes. As soon as you identify your types, then there will be missing parts. So we need to definitely think about that if you need to go deeper. But at the beginning, that's what we are suggesting. Just check first the classes, types. As soon as you know them, you know your property set. As soon as you know property sets, you definitely will be able to say, you can use it semantics, I mean, information, not the geometry, but information to be able to design, to simulate. We did this, by the way, in BIM and BAM group. We defined the ideas as well to capture information, and we simply run that model later on in simulation in one click without additional steps. Trinidad, last question, and then we'll go to Gerhard, otherwise we'll not make it.
It's more a comment than a question. If we look at the need of going to the function in the TND world, it's almost all standardized today. So I made an example. And then for me, probably we need to have exactly the same approach we have today on the electrical room. For example, on the product, we are not redefining what it exists today. We are coordinating with another association called eClass. So for me, we cannot work on the TND approach and also in the electrical domain on this approach without coordinating ourselves with the IEC world and what they are doing on this approach. Otherwise, we lose our time, we lose traction with the other experts of the domain. So for me, really, the recommendation is to coordinate also with external parties on this topic. With
Absolutely.
the electrical room, for sure, but also with the IEC world, for example.
One last comment regarding that. That you can also do with the help of BSTD. If you identified your class and say it's transformer, you can find in BSTD the IFC dictionary and it says IFC transformer. Suddenly we can find it in A-Team and say it's the same. There are relations, by the way. There are relations in A-Team. You can find in A-Team. When in other dictionaries, you can bring your classification into BSTD and map them together and bring into your model, by the way, into your model that you will be able to capture that information via BSTD and via IDS and so on. So now, Gerhard,
Yes.
if sound works and we can proceed with your presentation. If not, then we will like to postpone your part to the next meeting. So Gerhard, really sorry for this technical issue. We will postpone your presentation for the next time. We'll have a next meeting. We'll identify next meeting as soon as we will have information from the committees. And then everyone will get information, statement that the project could proceed. There is endorsement from all committees, and we will identify next meeting, either in presence or in online, probably first online and then somewhere again in presence, and most probably at the next summit. So we have 7 minutes to go. I would say we wrap up slowly. Something that I also wanted to present just to show how you do IDS, how you connect the BSTD, your requirements. I think we can simply postpone for the next meeting. We'll keep that for next time. And sorry for Gerhard as well from my side. This technical issue here, well, nothing to do, but we will follow up with the next steps, with next presentations. Yeah, the last but not the least, all your questions, you can summary. We will try to bring those notes into a Miro board. By the way, we have a Miro board. We bring all chronologically from up until down. If you have interest, simply go to the site and you will find that information.
That's correct, Mirbek, and you just have to request access and then we will give you access. It's not immediate, it's not open access, we have to actually invite you in.
And of course, join us as a member, buildingSMART member. Please join as a sponsor. Please, you're welcome to be part of this initiative. And of course, we will be looking forward for everyone, especially domain experts, software vendors from related disciplines to be part of this future working group, hopefully. You would like to make
yeah, again, buildingSMART is funded almost entirely by membership. So in order to pay for Miro boards and pay for the very small staff team that we have, we do require membership in order to keep operating. So yes, we would like you to join as members as soon as possible.
Shall we collect questions now, quickly? We have 5 minutes. I think we can still could proceed with questions from electrical domain, especially those questions that you have as a pain point, so we can definitely discuss them. If you have other questions or requests, if you don't know, maybe or you know someone who would be interested to present the best practice, we can simply take into account at the next meeting. Christian, Trinidad, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's more, again, a question / comment for buildingSMART. I think we really need to coordinate better the two initiatives, the electrical domain and the T&D
Can I present
workshop, whatever, because really, if it comes to the function, we are really a need to be coordinated. And if it's ready for T&D, I think it's almost really specific, but really the function, electrical ones are common.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just respond to that. I think the beauty of program thinking is that we can have multiple projects that have a similar shared benefit, such as transmission distribution or building networks, which are all part of an electrical oversight. And the more people we have on the domain steering committee, the more that we can concentrate the future roadmap to incorporate all these things. The BSI process by which we govern the programs and the projects at buildingSMART allows for that difference between the various projects. So we can have a building electrical networks project and an electrical transmission and distribution project running in parallel, but under the same program.
Just as a sneak preview for the next time, just so that you'll be interested, so you will know I'm not telling you fantasies. Everything is real. The ideas is there. You can capture information as a requirement. You're domain experts. You can simply identify. This is mapping through BSTD. I don't have anything, so I simply can take API from as a user plugin, let's say API. You can use your models. If you don't know if it's a transformer, how would you call transformer in BSTD and IFC? Simply use BSTD for your mapping purposes. You can write transformer, you will find transformer in IFC, and you can see IFC transformers there. The positive thing of BSTD, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to type all or create predefined types. I don't have to create property sets. And those, as you can see, coming automatically below, all the property sets, all the property sets along with properties, I can simply use and fill and thus map my objects in my IFC building. So this is for next time. There will become ideas, validation, and then we can simply check. So you can see that modeling is one thing, but the information that I will be delivering, I'm responsible. I'm a domain expert. I will be delivering information for later on for my simulations, for my calculations, whatever. That's important. That's why we need to know what we are using. If this will be also mapped with A-Team, there will be A-Team stuff directly there. So we don't have to create anything new. Regarding ideas, this is a test of ideas, BIM and BAM. As you can see, there are many red dots. It says those requirements didn't pass. And for IFC here later on transformer, I think somewhere below. We don't have any transformer. As you can see, there's the requirements on the right side. As soon as I place transformer here with specific ones, it will show me what is missing, which information is missing. And by doing so, I will deliver I would recommend it for electrical domain to do so. If you do define your requirements, what exactly you need, not just transformer, not just geometry. Like you said, I need functions, I need time schedules, I need even the specific requirements that might be coming from your domain. You can define them with the IDS, and later on, as you can see, it's a Solibri model checker. I can test them. Oh, okay. So I can simply.
If you have to type all this again, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
In E-class, a lot of things are defined. In eTeam, a lot of things are defined. So we need to see how we get them transferred here.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. So by doing so, I'm finishing my part, and I hope you can join us next time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your commitment and inputs. Please follow our updates on buildingSMART International website. You will find some maybe new press release. The latest activity proposal will be published as well. On the box, you will give the extra link for that. Everyone who is interested simply can contact us, buildingSMART International. Thank you for your attention, and until next time.